Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners meeting, and we'll call it to order. And Commissioner Turner will lead us in prayer, and then Commissioner Tiffany Phillips will lead us in the pledge.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you again, Lord, for another day to be able to serve the citizens of Rutherford County. Lord, I ask that with the conversations and discussions that we have tonight, Lord, that we do it with a clear mind and an honest heart, Lord, in our words and our actions and our deeds towards each other. Ask that you be with those families, Lord, that have been affected in the state by the storms. Just continue to protect them and watch over those families and the rescue workers that are out there restoring power and taking care of those who have been injured. Be with those families that are watching on TV and those families that are here, Lord. I ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Schaefer. Here. Commissioner Black. Here. Commissioner Jordan. Here. Commissioner P. Here. Commissioner Cook. Here. Commissioner Jernigan. Here. Commissioner Farley.
Here.
Commissioner Phillips.
Here.
Commissioner Sandlin. Here. Commissioner Turner. Here. Commissioner Allen.
Here.
Commissioner Stevens.
Here.
Commissioner Jordan.
Here.
Commissioner Baum.
Here.
Commissioner Coggin.
Present.
Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Phillips. Commissioner McAdoo.
Here.
Commissioner Ely.
Here.
Commissioner Gooch. Commissioner Sereno. It's 21 present.
Thank you very much. We have before you the minutes of the last meeting. Commissioner Phillips.
Mayor Burgess, I've reviewed those, find them in order, and move that they be approved.
Right, second by Commissioner Jernigan. Any additions or deletions or corrections? If not, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Now we have a time set aside for public comments, and we have 6 people that have signed up to speak. And I'll remind the speakers that you will have 3 minutes and to make your comments, and we'll ask you to come forward. First, we have Mr. Donald Todd.
My name is Donald Todd, and I live at 633 Buck Lane. Victorious Tennessee legislators uphold constitutional powers of the counties. Recently, misguided proposals were submitted to the Tennessee legislature, apparently from the Socialistic National Municipal League in Chicago and New York. These proposals were included in House Bill 63 and 87 and in Senate Bill 85. These badly conceived proposals apparently were introduced with the idea of streamlining county governments. In reality, the constitutional processes in the counties would be weakened and the counties would operate at higher costs. At the present time in Rutherford County, our constitutionally elected officials have the authority to control all of their financial operations. Under the newly proposed legislation, the mayor is not only given the unnecessary power to create a county budget committee, but he would also be given the unconstitutional authority to appoint 5 members to this committee. As a result, the proposed plan would transfer control of the previously mentioned financial operations from elected officials over to the county's unelected finance director, as well as to a new county budget committee with its membership dominated by unelected officials, that is, people not responsible to the voters for their jobs. If these bills had been approved, our county government would lose its accountability to the voters. Fortunately, on March 27, 2013, these unconstitutional bills were defeated. Because of this defeat, our Tennessee legislators have saved our constitutional freedom in more than one respect. They prevented a constitutional financial crisis from erupting over removing the right of elected officials to control taxpayers' money. Such a constitutional violation is legitimately defined as taxation without representation. In order to build up excessive power in the executive branch of the county government so that the legislative functions of the county commission would be dangerously undermined, the National Municipal League has apparently attempted to implement certain governmental policy changes within these proposed bills. For example, at least 2 of our county commissioners have said that the commissioners were not given the opportunity to vote on whether or not the county should recycle surplus revenue to the next fiscal year's budget in order to avoid shortfalls in certain funds and therefore prevent a tax increase. It appears that stringent National Municipal League type rules, not laws, are preventing easy accessibility to our surplus revenue and putting a stop to the recycling process. State Senator Stacey Campfield agrees that the Tennessee legislature should implement strong laws to permit recycling surplus revenue to next year's budget. Thank you, Tennessee legislators, for upholding constitutional self-rule. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Todd. Next, Michelle Stevenson, come forward and please give us your address.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Stevenson, and I live at 7212 Riverwalk Boulevard here in Murfreesboro, which is in the subdivision right next to the county landfill. I want to express how upset I am, as well as my community, about the county's disregarding our health, safety, and property. We believe the county has purposely allowed its landfill to disregard the rules. How can you choose to simply ignore the rules set forth by TDEC, the EPA, and OSHA? How do you choose not to comply? It's bad enough that lying isn't considered a violation of our ethics, but it's completely reprehensible that this issue continues to be ignored and pushed aside. We have the right to expect that people who are put in a position of authority will tell the truth and follow the laws. We demand a solution be reached quickly with the guidance of TDEC and the approval of the community to make this area safe. We not only insist, but we have a right to expect clean water, clean air, and clean soil. As a commission, I charge each of you to do the right thing right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Angela Cotter.
Good evening. My name is Angela Cotter, and I live at 6601 Rhodes Lane. I am here to speak to you about the county landfill and some severe and significant issues that is emergent and must quickly be resolved. Each of you have received an independent test conducted on the water on the East Fork of the Stones River. Ladies and gentlemen, we have leachate in our river. If you'll turn to page 2 of this, the arrows indicating the test sites, red being the first site and number 1 listed on your testing, blue, site 2, in the middle of our county landfill, and yellow, site 3, at almost the end of that particular area. Again, I'm going to have to go through this very quickly, and I apologize. If you'll also turn to page 3, you'll notice in this particular picture, which has not been doctored and is from the Google satellite imaging, that we have a definite color change in our river right at our landfill. Again, I'm having to move on quickly, and I'll apologize, but if you'll turn to page 6, it then explains in this particular page about the images. The first image from the scanning electron microscope on this page is from the area collection site 1. As you can see, it looks fairly normal if you've looked at these particular items. Going to page 7 is site 2 and 3, which are significantly different. Moving on to page 11, this particular page is a summary of several materials listed containing these chemical elements that are present in our Class 1 and our C&D landfill. Not to exclude or include anything, but I'm going to quickly go over them. Gypsum, lumber, latex products and plastic, roofing, composite paneling, silicone, glazing, glass, granite, cement, coating, again some gypsum,
waterproofing, PVC, asphalt, paint, flame retardant, wallboard, paneling, ceiling, steel doors, and framing. A lot of this is not tested for in our current water. It is not to levels that would be considered toxic at this point, but if we do not act quickly, it might be. On this particular test, if you will turn to page 30, you will see the resume of Dr. Wells. He is here if you have any questions or would like to ask anything about this particular study. I will close this out relatively quickly by saying this is a necessity, not a need. We must act with quality and swiftness to resolve this issue immediately. This is a danger to our community, to our drinking water, and to our children. Please, please act on this quickly. And again, Dr. Wells is here if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Cindy Wells.
My name is Cindy Wells. I live at 7884 Canesville Pike in Las Casas. Shortly after the Convenience Center purchase meeting, a group of citizens decided that we would like to attempt to utilize the ball fields in Las Casas when the ball clubs were not using them. We had hopes of forming a group that would use tracking and trailing dogs to help special needs children. That's how this all got started. We did some asking around to find out how the Las Casas Ball Club obtained use of the property, because we were thinking we would just do the same thing they did. We were told that they were given the rights to use the property on a handshake deal with the Las Casas Volunteer Fire Department. We then recalled that at the same Convenience Center meeting that the ball club representative had stated that they got grants from the Conservation Board, and we thought we would like to see what it would take so that we could get some grant money as well. We were told to get grant money from the Conservation Board that you have to be a 501c3. A 501c3 has to report to the IRS. They are required to file 990s each year. That is non-negotiable. If you don't file your 990s each year, you have your status revoked. So we started looking to see if the Las Casas Ball Club had the 990s filed with the IRS. We could find nothing. I hope that they're able to produce them. I really do, but we couldn't find them. That made us wonder if something else was going on with them. We visited the property. On our first visit to the site, we discovered what appeared to be raw sewage, approximately 200 feet from the ball fields and the fish fry. Immediately, we were worried about the safety of the children running, playing at the ball fields, and we took the water, we took a sample, and we had it tested. It came back with E. coli. I would like to take this opportunity tonight to ask the parents to be careful when your kids are out there playing ball. Don't let them be running through ditches with water in them. You do not want them to get sick, and this stuff will make you very sick. In addition, we found unsafe bathrooms that were paid for with county grant money that do not meet code. They were supposed to be handicap friendly. They unfortunately are not. You can go look at them just like we did. As a taxpayer, it is important for me to know exactly what governs the rules that exist for an entity to exist and make money on county property. The quote in the paper today disturbed me greatly by Mr. Estes, who said that you don't have to be a not-for-profit, you don't have to be a 501c3, that they can really hand out our tax dollars as they wish. That really does disturb me. I am requesting for the commission to have greater oversight of this board, because every meeting I've been to, you're struggling for every penny. And so I just think that it needs more oversight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brad Rails.
Hi, my name is Brad Rails. I live at 7884 Canesville Pike, Las Casas. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, we brought to the attention of the leadership of this county a problem that we thought at the Las Casas ballpark of not maybe having the proper license. A meeting last Friday with Mayor Burgess, he told me that maybe we were right, and he felt like there may be a problem of some kind, and it may be bigger than I thought. I appreciate Mr. Burgess taking the time to meet with me that day. I don't know if you saw that Laverne had the same problem, and the mayor down there, and Mayor Mosley, I believe, absolutely dropped the hammer, fixed the problem, and we move on. The kids are getting ready to start practice again already. I was hoping that that would happen with our county, and I hope that it still will. You all have got a hard job. If this is true, what we think and what I discussed with the mayor is true, then I wouldn't want to be in your shoes to do this. I hope that you'll keep in mind the quicker we do something like this, the quicker the kids will be playing ball. This is not something to stop ball. This is something to make it legal and make it safe and make sure that we're doing the right thing each and every time we go out. If you would look at the Laverne coaches meeting, March 27th meeting on YouTube, you can see how she handled it. It wasn't easy for her, and it won't be easy for you if indeed Mayor Burgess and myself are right. You know, I own a small business, and it would be great to have my small business on county property. It would be great to get grants that I can just spend any way I want. But that's not how it works, and that's not what's supposed to happen, and I think you'll agree with me. I do appreciate your time, and have a great evening.
Thank you. Mr. Axel David.
Good evening. My name is Axel David. I live at 1320 Journey Drive here in Murfreesboro, District 4. I'm here representing Murfreesboro CAPE, which stands for CAPE, Citizens Against Photo Enforcement. We are trying to eliminate red light cameras here in the city. Now, I preface this by saying I understand the county commission, county government has no control over the red light cameras. It's strictly a city of Murfreesboro thing. But I'm coming here to hopefully compel you guys and ladies to compel the city council members and educate them on the real dangers of these red light cameras and the problems they present. And this is an issue to everybody here in Rutherford County. What the police in the city will say is that this is here for safety, it's not for revenue. Doesn't add up. The crashes across the board gone up. This is by the police department's own statistics and everywhere else in the country. It increases the panic stops. We know that. Nearly all of these violations come from split-second red light violations. In other words, someone that just trails behind the car right as it turns red. These are the vast majority of citations. These are not safety issues. Inconsiderate, yeah, but we've all done it. It happens. The sticking point, though, in the safety argument is the supposed reduction to T-bone, as they call it, the really side angle crashes. The issue with this is the cameras do not prevent these type of crashes. In other words, someone that's going well up to light turn red at full speed. If you're going through a light at full speed and you know the repercussions are killing somebody else, killing yourself, totaling your car, a $50 ticket is not going to stop that. We know that's common sense. No one's going to go through that and say, oh, I better not do this, I'm going to get a $50 ticket. It's silly. The people doing this are distracted or intoxicated. A camera does not change that. They're going to do it anyway. I want officers to pull people over if they see someone committing a criminal offense and interact with them. It's a deadly act. They need to be interacting with these people and stopping on the spot. Hypothetical scenarios of if the police aren't watching at these intersections or they see the camera flash and they let it go, they're drunk, they're going to kill someone at the next intersection. This is, again, it's a serious safety issue. Another reason, aside from the safety claims, is there a burden on the innocent? Let's say your kid, spouse, driving your car, your mechanic takes it on a test drive, runs a red light, you'll get the ticket. You can sign affidavits and present to court and fight it, but it's a day out of your, day out for work, day you had to go to court to present it. Lastly, the issue I take issue with it subverts the U.S. Constitution by treating it as a non-moving civil violation. Of course, if a police officer does it, it's a criminal violation. You would get due process in that. You're denied the right to confront your accuser, cross-examine witnesses, subpoena, etc. Red light running is a crime, and it should be given due process, and it's not. I encourage everyone to read more at Murfreesboro CAPE, CAPE.org. I can also be contacted there. Next week we'll have a petition. Again, that's murfreesborocape.org. Thank you very much for your time.
Right, thank you. Next, we have a report on elections and confirmations, and we'll call on Commissioner Gooch.
Commissioners, steering has several items for your consideration this evening. First, you would notice on your desk a list of notary candidates. Mr. Chair, I move for their approval.
Second from Commissioner Sandlin. All in favor of this, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
Second, we need to fill the vacancy on the Equalization Board. Steering nominates Mr. Tim Rudd. I move for his approval, Mr. Chair.
Second from Mr. Coggin. Any discussion or questions? All in favor of that, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much.
And we need to announce 3 vacancies on the Emergency Communications District Board.
Thank you, Commissioner. We don't have any unfinished business. We have about 5 minutes before the public hearing time, so we'll start just a bit on our reports by our standing committees. And first, you have before you a copy of the minutes of the Purchasing Committee monthly report. We need a motion to approve that. Commissioner Cook and a second from Commissioner Schaefer. Any questions or discussions on that before we vote? All in favor, please say aye. 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 Any opposed?
I pass, Mr. Mayor.
Let the record reflect that Mr. Farley passed. Okay, Mrs. Ely, we'll let you go ahead and start your program. Maybe you should tell me what that clock says. It might say 6:30. I can't. 6 what? Right now. Okay, excuse me. So that's a little off from my watch. So we'll wait just a moment. So we'll start the public hearing process. And the first request is a rezoning request 13-A003 on behalf of Mr. John L. Beatty for a property located at 5104 Baker Road. The existing zoning is RM, the proposed zoning is AR, and the size of the site is approximately 409 acres. Mr. DeMosi.
Yes, Mayor Burgess, thank you, and good evening, Mayor and members of the Commission. As he stated, this first piece of property is located along Baker Road. The entire property is about 409 acres. It's actually located on both sides of the road. There are several existing agricultural structures on the property. The applicant proposes to continue to use the property to raise livestock and grow crops for production agriculture. Currently, the applicant does sell produce from an existing barn, which is located on the southern portion of the property, about 500 feet off of Baker Road. In the future, the applicant would like to place a cabin in front of the barn to act as the farm stand. I believe he wants the agricultural residential, the AR zone, really just to help conserve his property over time and to continue using it as agriculture. With that, the applicant is present. The Planning Commission did recommend in favor of this by unanimous vote. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions on to Mr. DeMosi before we have the public hearing? All right, thank you, sir. That being said, we'll declare the public hearing open with respect to this rezoning request number 13-A003. If there's anyone here that wishes to speak for or against this request, this is your opportunity to come forward and tell us what you'd like to say. I don't see anyone that's rising to speak. That being the case, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve with the restrictions.
Sandlin, and who was the second? Excuse me, Mr. Young. Any discussion or questions? All right, all in favor of that, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. The next request we have is rezoning request 13-A004. Brandon Whitt, the applicant, located at 3108 Medical Center Parkway. Existing zoning RM, proposed zoning AR. Size of the site is approximately 238 acres. And Mr. DeMosi, a similar project.
Yes, Mayor Burgess, it is. Thank you. As you stated, this piece of property is actually located along Medical Center Parkway. It's actually 2 separate tracts of about 73 acres and 165 for a total of 238 acres. Again, several existing agricultural buildings on the property. Essentially what the applicant would like to do with this, along with conserving the property for future agricultural use, they're currently growing a strawberry patch on the property, and they'd like to create a pick-your-own type facility where people will just come and pick their own strawberries when they're in harvest. That falls under what's called agricultural tourism, which is permitted by right in the agricultural residential zone. So essentially that's why he's asking for this particular zoning classification. We've met with the applicant and also officials from the city of Murfreesboro on the property just regarding access to the strawberry fields, which will probably be which will be off of Wilkinson Pike at the cul-de-sac, little dead end there, as opposed to Medical Center Parkway. I think that'd be a better solution. The applicant is okay with that. So with that, again, the Planning Commission did recommend approval of this by unanimous vote, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Demosi? Okay, thank you, sir. That being the case, we'll declare the public hearing open for this rezoning request number 13-8004. If there's anyone that wishes to come forward and speak, either for or against the project, this request, this is your opportunity. Does anyone like to say anything regarding this application? Okay, there doesn't appear to be anyone that's coming forward, so we declare the public hearing closed. And do we have a motion concerning this request? Mr. Gooch.
Motion to approve with conditions, Mr. Chair.
Second from Commissioner Jordan. Any questions or discussion? All in favor of that, then please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that's unanimous. Thank you very much. Now we're ready to start the Budget, Finance, and Investment Committee report. Commissioner Ely.
Item J2A, the General Fund Budget Amendments. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the General Fund be amended as follows. Restricted for capital operating transfers from restricted for capital $5,875 to operating transfers $5,875. This is funding to complete the roads for the 12 Corners subdivision. Board of Equalization, a property assessor, from Board of Equalization consultants $3,000 to property assessor, furniture and fixtures $1,000, office equipment $1,000, maintenance agreements $1,000. From Geographic Information Systems, data processing equipment $81,000 to information technology, data processing services $81,000. For drug court, from office equipment, $321, increased revenue, DUI treatment fines, general sessions, $5,000, to other supplies and materials, $5,321. Fire and rescue, increased revenue from contributions and gifts, $425, increased expenditures, other supplies and materials, $425. Restricted for capital projects, increased revenue, miscellaneous refunds, $1,298. To increase for restricted for capital projects, $1,298. This is a refund from the contractor on the jail kitchen expansion and renovation. Sheriff's Department and Jail, increased revenue, contributions and gifts, $2,500. Increased expenditures for other supplies and materials, $2,500. From the Sheriff's Department, jury expenses, $25,000. Jail transportation other than students, $25,000. To jail food supplies, $50,000. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Second, Commissioner Jernigan. Are there any questions? All right, then please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
21 yes, motion passes.
Item J2B, a special purpose fund budget amendment. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the special purpose DEA fund be amended as follows. Sheriff's Department, increased revenue, asset forfeiture funds, $3,267, increased expenditures, confidential enforcement, $3,267. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Second, Commissioner Cook. Any questions? Please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
21 yes, motion passes.
Item J2C, Ambulance Service Fund Budget Amendments. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the Ambulance Service Fund be amended as follows. Increased revenue from patient charges, $5,000. Increased expenditures refund, $5,000. From assigned for public health and welfare, $40,000 to gasoline, $40,000. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Second, Commissioner Jernigan. Any questions? Please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
21 yes, motion passes.
Item J2D, Highway Fund Budget Amendments. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the Highway Fund be amended as follows. Other charges, Public Works, committed for highways, Public Works, $312,200, to other equipment, $300,000, employee and dependent insurance, $12,200. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. I move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second, Commissioner Sandlin. Any questions? Please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
20 yes, 1 abstain, motion passes.
Item J2E, General Debt Service Fund Budget Amendment. This resolution is to provide necessary changes to amend revenue and expenditures for our bond proceeds, and you will see that in premiums received, underwriter's discount, other debt issuance charges, and interest on bonds. Be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the General Debt Service Fund be amended as follows. Refunded bond escrow, increased revenue, refunding debt issued, $65,700,000. Premium on debts sold, $5,401,891. Increased expenditures, general government underwriters discount, $16,484. Education underwriters discount, $91,168. Refunded bond escrow other debt service, $72,249,052. General government other debt issuance charges, $31,409. Education other debt issuance charges, $183,591. Decreased expenditures, general government interest on bonds, $204,157. Education interest on bonds, $1,265,656. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Second, Commissioner Jernigan. Any questions?
I know this is a good thing. Can you give an explanation of what?
Yes, this is when last month or so that we refunded. We had two debt issues, one a taxable issue and non-taxable, and it was done to achieve savings in the debt service. So this is now just adjusting the budget. If there is a question, refunded debt escrow, that's the money that comes in, and then we give it to our escrow agent that pays those bonds as they come due. I mean, that's basically what it is if you don't see any change to fund balance. But in the end, we save money out of debt service and lower our payments.
I just wanted the public to know that's billions of dollars. I just wanted them to know the upside of the reason we done it.
Yes.
I'm not sure, Ms. Nolan, if you remember the precise numbers, you might tell them the actual total dollars of savings. The interest rate on the non-taxable was like 2.42, and on the taxable was
1.15
or something. So,
below.
but we saved how many total $1 million?
Well, after the last 4 issues, we've saved $15 million.
The last 4 issues of these refundings, we've saved $15 million for the county, and it's taxpayers. Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions? We have a motion and a second on the floor. All right, then, please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
21 yes, motion passes.
Item J2F, a resolution authorizing cooperation agreement with Smyrna Housing Authority. Whereas the Smyrna Housing Authority requested Rutherford County enter into a cooperation agreement with the Smyrna Housing Authority for the Sherwood Forest Apartments on Almaville Road in Smyrna, Tennessee. And whereas the cooperation agreement would exempt by law pursuant to TCA 67-5-206 the property of the Smyrna Housing Authority from taxes and special assessments. And whereas it is in the best interest of the citizens of Rutherford County, Tennessee, to enter into said cooperation agreement with the Smyrna Housing Authority. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the cooperation agreement attached hereto is Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein by reference as if set forth herein at length verbatim, be and the same is hereby ratified, confirmed, and approved. Be it further resolved that the mayor and other authorized county officials be and the same are hereby authorized to sign and enter into the attached cooperation agreement for and on behalf of Rutherford County. Resolved this 11th day of April, 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Jordan, any questions or discussions? Commissioner Farley.
Is this, I can't remember the name of the what? Warehousing. Okay, this is not warehousing.
Has nothing to do with that. Smyrna Housing Authority. Any other questions? All right, then. There's no money involved here anyway, so all of you in favor of that, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Thank you very much.
Item J2G, a resolution authorizing the Governor's Highway Safety Grant application for drug court. Whereas Rutherford County has been notified of available funds through the Tennessee Department of Transportation for a Governor's Highway Safety Office grant, and whereas the Rutherford County Drug Court desires to submit an application in the amount of $60,000 for the said grant to assist in providing funds for the Rutherford County Drug Court DUI court program. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the county mayor and any other appropriate officials of Rutherford County be and are hereby authorized to submit an application to the Tennessee Department of Transportation for the Governor's Highway Safety Office grant requiring no matching funds. And additionally, that the county mayor be authorized to accept the said grant subject to it being awarded. Resolved this 11th day of April, 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Commissioner Peace, second. Any questions on that? All right, please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
21 yes, motion passes.
Item J2H, resolution authorizing mental health facility grant application for the Correctional Work Center, utilizing staff from Volunteer Behavioral Health. Whereas the Rutherford County Correctional Work Center desires to apply for the FY 2013 Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program Grant through the Department of Justice, Office of Justice Programs, in the amount of $226,036, which will require an in-kind match. And whereas, if awarded, the grant funds will be used to establish the comprehensive treatment, recovery, and reentry program through a collaboration between CWC and Volunteer Behavioral Health Care System, increase community tenure through reentry planning and facilitating access to community-based resources, and developing cross-training opportunities for criminal justice and behavioral health professionals. And whereas the project will be a partnership between the Rutherford County Correctional Work Center and volunteer behavioral health care system. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the county mayor and other appropriate officials be and are hereby authorized to submit a 2-year grant application for the FY 2013 Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Program grant in the amount of $226,036, with the local match to be provided from in-kind services. And additionally, that the county mayor be authorized to accept said grant, subject to it being awarded. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Second. Commissioner Schaefer and Sandlin. Any questions or discussion? All right, please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
21 yes, motion passes.
Item J2I, a resolution authorizing federal domestic violence grant application for the Sheriff's Department. Whereas the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office currently receives a Stop Domestic Violence grant, which is expiring, and they desire to reapply for another 2-year Stop Domestic Violence grant through the State of Tennessee Office of Criminal Justice Programs, requiring 25% local matching funds. And whereas if the grant is awarded, the grant proceeds will be used to provide funding for a Stop Cops/Domestic Violence Investigator, with the said position to be solely dedicated to the efforts of domestic violence. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the county mayor and other appropriate officials of Rutherford County, Tennessee, be and are here authorized to submit an application to the State of Tennessee Office of Criminal Justice Programs for a 2-year Stop Domestic Violence grant requiring a local match of 25%, and additionally to authorize the county mayor to accept said grant, subject to it being awarded. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. I move for approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Commissioner Jernigan, anyone have a question? All right, then please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
21 yes, motion passes.
Item J2J, a resolution authorizing acceptance of FY 2013 federal staffing for adequate fire and emergency response grant for the Fire and Rescue Department. Whereas Rutherford County has been notified by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Department of Homeland Security that the 4-year grant application submitted under the FY 2013 staffing for adequate fire and emergency response, or SAFER grants, has been approved in the amount of $249,741, requiring no matching funds. And whereas it is being proposed that the grant funds will be used to hire a recruitment and retention coordinator and will also provide 4-year long-term disability and life insurance policies for all volunteer firefighters. Therefore, be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the county mayor and all other appropriate officials of Rutherford County, Tennessee, be and are hereby authorized to accept the FY 2013 SAFER grant in the amount of $249,741, requiring no matching funds. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Second from Commissioner Young and others. Any questions? Commissioner Sandlin?
The recruitment coordinator and the 4-year-long disability stuff, what happens to the end of that, term?
That term, we'll have to make a budgeting decision. Do we continue that out of county funds or not?
How long is the recruitment coordinator for?
4 years.
It's 4 years also? Okay, that benefits. All right. Just as we always say with those, and I think maybe budget said it that night, that let that coordinator know that in 4 years they may not have a position. So we'll see then as far as what funding's like and if we can do it or not.
That's right. Commissioner Young.
with this being said, we've discussed this in public safety, in the fire rescue budget and the mayor's. We wanted to move the, Chief Farley's got a secretary, or the EMA secretary, and they're splitting time. We have one secretary taking care of 2 different departments, and this will allow one to move over. That department will grow, and the mayor was wanting to try to budget this if budget was going to allow. So this is something this is a blessing to us, and it saves us 4 years down the road. So, and the disability insurance for volunteers, that's huge. These guys are going out there and risking their life. If they get hurt, they still got to pay their bills. So this disability insurance, we should have been paying it regardless. It's only due for these guys giving their time 24 hours a day, any given day, to go out there in the middle of the night and help the community. We should at least provide that insurance policy. So I think this is a good thing. Do I like taking money from the federal government? No, we don't need to. But at this point in time, if we don't take it, the next county over is going to get it, and I'd rather get it. So that's my opinion on it, and I thank you.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion or questions? Commissioner Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this recruitment and retention coordinator the person that was going to be writing the grants and applying for money? We had discussed that in public safety, that somebody was going to be writing grants for the fire department.
That person could do this. It has a whole range of things that this person will be allowed to do.
It was explained in the public safety committee that this person was going to be writing grants, and basically we're getting a federal grant for somebody to write grants. And I just have a philosophical issue with that. So
that's not going to be their entire. They're going to provide administrative support and recruitment and retention for our volunteers as well. Any other discussion? All right, then, please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
20 yes, 1 no. Motion passes.
Item J2K, a resolution requesting unclaimed balance of accounts remitted to State Treasurer under Unclaimed Property Act. Whereas Tennessee Code annotated Section 66-29-102 and Section 66-29-123, as amended by Public Chapter 401, Acts of 1985, provide that a municipality or county in Tennessee may request payment for the unclaimed balance of funds reported and remitted by or on behalf of the local government and its agencies if it exceeds $100, less a proportionate share of the cost of administering the program. And whereas Rutherford County, Tennessee, and or its agencies have remitted unclaimed accounts to the State Treasurer in accordance with the Uniform Disposition of Unclaimed Property Act for the report year ending December 31, 2011. And whereas Rutherford County agrees to meet all of the requirements of Tennessee Code annotated Section 66-29-101 et sec, and to accept liability for future claims against accounts represented in funds paid to it, and to submit an annual report of claims received on these accounts to the State Treasurer by September 1 each year. Whereas it is agreed that this local government will retain a sufficient amount to ensure prompt payment of allowed claims without deduction for administrative cost or service charge, and that the balance of funds will be deposited in this local government's general fund. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Rutherford County, Tennessee, requests the State Treasurer to pay the unclaimed balance of funds remitted through the 2011 report year to it in accordance with the provisions of Tennessee Code annotated Section 66-29-121. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Second from Commissioner Schaefer. Any discussion?
Quick question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Schaefer.
Do we have any idea how much this is?
Mrs. Nolan says no.
Probably about $10,000 to $15,000.
All right. Any other questions? Please cast your votes.
Anyone that did not vote and wishes to vote, or anyone who would like to change your vote, you may do so now.
Record the votes.
1 yes, motion passes.
Okay. Health and Education Committee has no report. The Property Management Committee has no report. Public Safety Committee has a resolution to approve a contract for housing juveniles with Wilson County.
Whereas the attached contract between Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center and Wilson County for housing of juvenile offenders, a copy of said contract being attached hereto as Exhibit 1 and incorporated herein at length as set forth verbatim is in the best interest of the citizens of Rutherford County. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners that the appropriate officials for and on behalf of Rutherford County be and hereby authorized to enter into and execute for and on behalf of Rutherford County Juvenile Detention Center the contract with Wilson County for housing of juvenile offenders. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013, and I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Second, Commissioner P. Any questions? All in favor of that, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Public Works and Planning Committee, resolution to approve speed limit of 35 miles per hour on Miller Road. Commissioner Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I read this resolution, I have a couple of things that I would like to say. I know that we have all been privy, especially after tonight's public comments, to some of the questions that have been raised regarding the landfill. I don't feel like this is the appropriate place to discuss that tonight in the full commission. It needs to go through the committee process. With that said, I've already planned on next month, an official from TDEC will be coming to our meeting, as well as Mr. Nolan has already been made aware that we'll be discussing the issues and concerns that have been brought forth by some of our residents here in the county. So if you have any questions or concerns regarding the landfill, please feel free to email those to me, and I'd be more than happy to put those on our list. And this is for committee members as well as any other commissioner who might have any issues, because I'd like to have just a one list of things that we'll go over that night so that we don't have time issues and so that we can be better prepared for that meeting. Also, June the 15th, I wanted to give you a date to put on your calendar. Mr. Nolan and I have spoke, and we've been talking about this for over the last year about having a date that we can come and view the landfill. So that morning, and that is a morning where the landfill will be in operation. We don't have a time yet. We're going to discuss that at our May 7th Public Works Committee meeting. But we will have a time where commissioners can come and view the landfill, okay? June the 15th. That's a Saturday morning at the landfill, at our county landfill, not Allied Waste. All right, also before I read the resolution, notice that this resolution was placed in the public safety line. So yeah, if you can't find it, click on public safety. A resolution to approve speed limit of 35 miles per hour on Miller Road. Whereas the Rutherford County Highway Department is responsible for certain county roads in Rutherford County, Tennessee, and whereas TCA 55-8-153 authorizes the Rutherford County Commission to prescribe speed limits as it may deem appropriate on any road being maintained by Rutherford County, and authorizes it to erect appropriate signs, and whereas the Rutherford County Highway Department has requested a 35 mile per hour speed limit with appropriate signage be posted on Miller Road, a designated county road, and whereas the Public Works and Planning Committee has recommended said speed limit be imposed for the safety and welfare of the citizens of Rutherford County, Tennessee, and the maintenance and preservation of this county road and persons traveling thereon. Now therefore be it resolved by the Rutherford County Board of Commissioners as follows: that the maximum speed limit be, and the same shall hereafter be, 35 miles per hour for all motor vehicles traveling on Miller Road, said speed limit being deemed appropriate and reasonable by the Rutherford County Commission upon recommendation of the Rutherford County Highway Department pursuant to TCA 55-8-153. Resolved this 11th day of April 2013. I so move.
Second, Commissioner Jordan. Any questions? All in favor of that, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. The Steering Legislative and Governmental Committee, there is no report. Now, reporting for the Audit Committee, Commissioner Baum.
Thank you. The Rutherford County Audit Committee had met on March 19th to conduct our annual review of Rutherford County's audit. I guess I want to remind you first that the Rutherford County Audit Committee is not comprised of auditors. Serving on this committee is as close as some of us ever want to get to being auditors. The auditors identified 7 findings from 4 departments. My assessment of these findings is that they are relatively minor. Perhaps more importantly, the county is either in the process of addressing these findings or in some cases had already corrected these findings by the time the audit committee met. But I'd like to take about 1 or 2 minutes just to highlight a couple of these. One, for example, out of the office of the circuit court clerk was that there were accounting software deficiencies and multiple employees operated from the same cash drawer. To correct this, the county has purchased new software from a new vendor. You may remember approving that purchase several months ago. This will correct the problem, and the software will be operational in December of this year. In the office of the sheriff, the auditors found that the sheriff did not obtain a letter of agreement from the mayor or a court decree to authorize deputy hires. We feel like the Tennessee Code annotate is perhaps somewhat vague about this. Nevertheless, the sheriff has obtained letters of agreement from the mayor for this year, so that this will not be a finding this time next year, and the audit committee wants to encourage the sheriff to continue to do this so that this will not be a finding in the future. Number 3, for Rutherford County Schools, Rutherford County did not report a fringe benefit for school department employees to the IRS. On several high school campuses, we have apartments, and lead custodians live in some of these apartments. If living in these apartments is not part of their job description, then it's considered to be a taxable benefit by the IRS. To address this problem, we've paid back taxes on this benefit, and these lead custodians' job descriptions have been revised so that we won't owe taxes on this next year. And then in a 4th and final instance, this comes from the mayor's office. Competitive bids were not solicited for one instance of Dozier dirt work. This is out of the mayor's office because he's the county's purchasing agent. If work adds up to $10,000 or more, then competitive bids need to be solicited. We had one instance last year where we paid $7,000 for Dozier work, and we had a $7,000 contract for hauling dirt. But these 2 services were provided by the same vendor for the same project on the same day, so they really should have been considered one entity. If you add them up, that's $14,000, so we would have needed to have solicited bids competitively, and I think our response in this case is to just simply be more diligent and recognize these instances. I've gone through these fairly quickly. I'll answer any questions you might have, though, about them or any of the other details.
Any questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Baum, for that excellent report. Is there any other business to come before this body? Commissioner P. and then Commissioner Schaefer.
One thing I wanted to mention, it's also got to do with the public comment period. There was mention of the Lascassas Ball Club, and something I just wanted to make sure that all of you caught on your desk. You should have had a copy. This actually was provided by the accountant for the Lascassas Ball Club, showing that the club, in fact, is tax-exempt organization and meets the requirements to get the grants. If anybody's got any questions, we can suspend the rules and let him come up, but I don't think that's necessary unless y'all tell me he does. But thank you.
Schaefer.
This weekend, Saturday morning, 13th. It's the second Saturday. That means that Laverne Rescue Squad has a ham breakfast on Gamble Lane from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And all are encouraged to come and eat some good ham. And if you look at me, it keeps you skinny. It doesn't have any calories. Thank you.
Any other business to come before this body? There being none, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.